Hello and welcome to a special episode of the Tyler Moor, where we have journeyed far away to the Tyler Moor's eponymous capital city of the nation of Rhodasia. Not Rhodesia, but Rhodasia. This capital, as mentioned way back in the University Riots episode, is far, far away from the Tyler Moor in a peculiar land known in English as Unity River, though often known by its German name Einheit Fluß. But why have we come here, you might ask? Well, since the last game update back in March, the Tyler Moor and the Tyler Moor East have needed a lot of tinkering with the mod compatibilities and such, and all of this paired with the very real fact that my life requires a lot of attention and is unquestionably getting more difficult these days, so I have less time to play games and make videos, let alone tinker with all the mod lists. The good news is that both cities are finally working properly again, and we will still have many more Tyler Moor adventures in the future, but for now, you get to see the capital region of the Tyler Moor, as it is much less developed and had far fewer conflicts. So thank you so much for joining me again here in the merry Tyler Moor. First, a little bit about Unity River, and then we'll get to see more about the city itself. Unity River, also known as Einheit Fluß, is located in a region of many nations. The river itself is divided, with a Swiss-German region in the north and an Anglo-Franco-Canadian region in the South Delta. There is also an Italian region located far to the west, with a major port town in the Delta region, long ago leased from the Canadians to the Italians, much like Hong Kong or Macau were leased ports back in the day. In addition to these nations, we have a Spanish colony on the eastern coast and a Portuguese agricultural region to the north, surrounding one half of Rhodasia. The Canadians have a capital city at Belle-Bois, or Beautiful Forest, with a farming town in the north at Hutte de Castor, which means Beaver Lodge, and the industrial towns in the Sheltered Bay region on the coast, known collectively as the West Villages. The Canadians also host the regional airport, which is fairly modest but has an extensive rapid bus network leading to each urban region. The Swiss have their capital at Bernerli, a multiple municipal metro region, connected via high-speed rail through the Bernese Hills to a rail hub and spa resort town, Grossersee, which has an Italian and Portuguese counterpart. Grossersee is also connected to the coastal port of Kapsvetsken, which is Swiss-German for Cape Plum, an area that will be known far and wide for its orchards, as is the neighboring west village of Mirabel, which is French for plum. The Italians have an old medieval city on a barrier island nearby, Castellagio, which has a tourist industry that could rival Venice, and the citrus-producing towns of Limonata and Costa Arancia, their university town of Lago Maggiore, and the leased port town of Taranto, where the folk dance the Tarantella originates, with its suburbs of Alto Taranto and Via Foggia. The Costa Español hasn't yet been developed, but it will host a capital city of a gold mining region, as well as a stunning beach resort area along the coast. The Portuguese districts will be mostly fields and terraced vineyards, with the old defensive stronghold town of Bastião. Rhodasia is neighbors with Bastião, Hutte de Castor, and the Swiss town of Kupfenpflasterberg, and is located at the end of a high-speed rail network stretching all the way to Rhodasia. And as we approach the town, we can see it's mostly turn of the 20th century, largely wooden structures in the city, common in the region due to the ready supply of forests all around. The Capitol building itself houses a bicameral system split between the Legislative Assembly and the Indigenous Council. It sits on a giant lawn that encourages citizens to roam about the grounds in an effort to be open and transparent with the citizens, and it's also located at the very lowest point of a bowl valley. So this whole Parliament building is surrounded by hills on which the whole city is growing in a very symbolic way, that the opposite of perching high on a hill above the people, it is to be held accountable by the entire city that can look down upon it and make sure it's doing everything ethically. Right now, we are slowly approaching the main train station of Rhodasia. It is a very big, beautiful neoclassical structure with a lot of lines that connect this capital city with many of its surrounding multicultural neighbors. The train station is located just behind the Parliament buildings that you can see here, which is a combination of the San Francisco Ferry building and a lot of buildings from Versailles and the Louvre, as well as some market buildings that I used as glass roofs. This building in the roundabout is the Supreme Court of Rhodasia, and a lot of very important offices in the capital region, which we will certainly explore a lot more in greater detail as we have more Unity River episodes as time goes on. There are a lot of interesting stories crisscrossing this whole region, and I'm really looking forward to seeing a whole lot more of this region with you. Now, as you can see, Rhodasia has quite an S-shaped layout to it so far. When it is finished being developed, the whole region is going to radiate out from the center in a curved way, sort of like blades on a fan, basically. This allows a great way for the roads to curve down the hills into the center of the town. Everybody reaches the main district of the city easily without the streets being on too steep a grade. I didn't really want it to become too much of a San Francisco type of town because the hills are rather steep around here. There is still a lot of development to come in the area, but for now it's mostly just a sort of smaller, low-density town, a little bit sleepy, not much going on for it except for the main government. Using mostly low-slung buildings, nothing too fancy, but everything's going to have character to it. Everything will be sort of made cute and really fit into its area. Everything within this region is really a bit of a gem. All of Unity River is focusing on very highly detailed build-outs. There are only 2 areas where I allow any zoning and AI growing to occur, and that is in the Italian port town of Taranto and in the French-Canadian towns, mostly just currently in Belbois at the moment. This is because I really want it to be as pristine an area and as much to what it looks like in my imagination as possible so that you can see a more realistic representation of what my builds really are like when I can be very meticulous. The Tyler Moore East is very similar in that, but the Tyler Moore itself has a lot of issues from being largely just zoned and grown out, and a lot of those issues I feel are really worth avoiding if possible. And by being more specific in a build, I find that I'm able to make a more sustainable city that as the game gets updated over time, it's a lot more easy to return to a city and really enjoy it. So why don't we take a nice little first-person streetcar ride through downtown Rhodasia and enjoy a little downtime. Rhodasia is going to be sort of the blander of towns within Unity River. Every region needs a bit of a quiet space. There has to be a buttered toast in every area. You know, just the plain Jane type of town. There are so many different districts in Unity River, and so much character and so much flavor that it would all be a little too much to take if everything was something spicy and fun. So I think it's really appropriate that with the Tyler Moor East and the Tyler Moor being such vibrant areas, that it's okay for Rhodasia to be just a sleepy little town with a lot of work to do in terms of good government, but not a whole lot else going on for it. More of a bedroom community than anything else. This is because there will be so many other wonderful things in the area that there just needed to be a little bit of quiet space for the region. So that will be taken care of here. It is sort of in the upper and outer reaches of the region as well, leaving it fewer opportunities for connections, fewer reasons for people to go through the area. People won't be connecting through Rhodasia to get anywhere else anytime soon. It's sort of at the end of the line and out of sight, out of mind for most of the other nations in Unity River. But that doesn't mean that anybody ignores them. The whole region has a spirit of togetherness, that there are so many differences between them, and those differences are celebrated, and they're used as ways to teach each different nation and culture of wonderful flavors and traditions of different places around the world. This is a really great echo of the spirit of the Tyler Moor, where everybody has a place and everybody belongs. Rhodasia is certainly no exception to that, even though it is home to the infamous Bubba billionaire who has caused a lot of trouble in the Tyler Moor especially, but all around. There are characters in every place as well, but for the most part, this whole region just embraces togetherness and supporting one another in a helpful, economically sustainable, and environmentally sustainable community, where everybody watches out for one another in a very Jane Jacobs way of doing things. We are going to take a lovely view of the whole capital region here, and then we're going to wrap things up for a lovely vacation off to Unity River. We will be back with more Tyler Moor East and Tyler Moor episodes in time, as well as more Unity River episodes, so you get to see all of these wonderful little regions throughout this very colorful city area. Thank you so much for joining me once again. It really is a pleasure to bring these to you. I have a lot of fun and look forward to next time. Thank you, and bye-bye.